Thank you so much, Alex, for that. That was incredible. Such a complicated and yet encouraging concept, circular economy, something that I, who was an outsider in environmentalism and sustainability when I first came into this position, have learned so much about. And just every time I hear about it, I just so energized. And I also want to ask, who the heck got the brand recognition on circle economy? Whoever was the smart person who decided to make that their business name clearly had good marketing consultants there. But we do have some, speaking of people with great business acumen, we have some folks coming up, as Alex said, three businesses who are going to talk, some businesses we're going to talk about Canadian made solutions. These are businesses who are ahead of the curve, making it happen, innovating. And I bet you're going to be really interested in the stuff you're going to hear. They're doing some really cool, almost science fiction-y cool stuff. Like I'm really jacked to have them on the conference today. So first up, we're going to see a presentation from Glen Smith of Eco Growth Environmental. So Eco Growth Environmental is a Calgary-based technology company focused on providing green initiatives and solutions to environmental challenges through development and innovative sustainable technologies. Eco Growth is determined to manage our activities with a view to prevent and mitigate harmful effects of nature and our natural resources. The principle of reduce, reuse, recycle, and renew is a core value that guides not only their business lives, but their personal lives as well. They have taken the circular economy to heart and placed it in their business model. As a company and an individual, they are devoted to leaving clean and green legacy for future generations of Canadians by creating a controlled environment in which to reduce the volume of their waste stream. We also have Colin McKeever, I believe, here as well, who will also be doing a bit of an introduction to Eco Growth. So if I can see Colin, your camera's up. Going to give me a wave?
Let me just get it there.
Colin, sorry. Colin
I'm here.
McKeever.
I just got to get it.
There you go.
Okay, now where am I? Sorry, guys. There I am. Hello.
So Colin, if you want to give us a quick introduction as well. Colin is currently situated in Northern Ontario right now, and he works with Eco Growth Canada. So if he wants to, if you can give an introduction, and then Glen Smith will take it away for his demonstration of the product.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having us. Very exciting day. My name is Colin McKeever. I live on Manitoulin Island. I got involved with Eco Growth about a year ago now, but basically because of the work that Rethink Green did with the groups on Manitoulin Island. I was investigating a small scale solution for small and medium sized communities and companies in Canada. I got involved with Glen Smith. I believe that we have got a very exciting opportunity here, and let's move on. Glen, go for it.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here. I've been listening to the forum here all morning, and it's exciting to see how much synergy is going on. There wasn't that much in 1996 since we started down this route. There wasn't as much talk as there is now. So we are a commercial laundry in Calgary. We actually wash floor mats. We wash about 100,000 pounds of floor matting a day. So we have a big need for hot water. We have a big need for laundry equipment. We have a big need for energy. We have all that. And my partner, Kim, who started this in 1996, was one of those guys who paid for curbside recycling literally about 28 years ago. And he brought that into his business, and he just forwarded it ahead to everything we've come across. And we've been closing the loop on different waste streams since then. And what I'm standing in here now is actually in place of our old cardboard and our garbage dumpster. And what it's doing, this whole container is made in Canada. All the technologies inside is made in Canada, actually right next door to you guys in Manitoba. What we do is efficiently use our own waste stream in place of a fossil fuel at our commercial laundry in Calgary. And how we do that is I want to talk to you guys a bit about biomass and what is biomass and where does that play a part in a circular economy or even carbon reduction. And what we've done is we've taken that idea. Those of you who have outdoor wood boilers or inside home wood stoves or pellet stoves, guess what? You guys are basically involved in the circular economy already, because biomass is a carbon neutral fuel source. And we took it another step by going beyond wood and seeing what other biomasses were available from our dumpsters. So we take things like cardboard, paper, textile, cotton rags from our laundry that get to the point where you can't wash and return them anymore. We basically shred all that stuff and we prep it into a waste stream or into a fuel source that we then use as energy back into the laundry water here in Calgary. And basically we've taken the different waste streams we've come across, and instead of throwing it into the dumpster and having to go to landfill, spewing hydrocarbon all the way down the trucks and having it turn to methane, which is 25 times more potent greenhouse gas than regular CO2, or just turning the materials back to CO2, we've decided to use it all right here at the laundry. So what EcoGrowth does is we make biomass dehydrators, and we make 3 different size dehydrators. Of one, this is our smallest unit that's right beside me. It's like a home dryer. The principles of laundry actually we apply, but we put wet organics into it. And we take the wet organics like food waste, and we basically quickly dry it into a dry fluff material. Well, guess what? That's just like sawdust. So it can become a fuel like in a pellet stove or a wood stove. Or in the back is our eco boiler, we call it, and it runs on nothing but recovered biomass that typically would have went to landfill. So we deal with end of the life products, which 85% of most dumpsters in Canada, we can utilize and create our own carbon neutral energy with. And what this means here in Calgary for our 60,000 square foot laundry that's beside me here is it saves us $60,000 a year in natural gas costs. We don't pay to get rid of the materials anymore. So that all that cost went down for us. But guess what? We learned how to monetize the offset credit using the waste biomass. And this has been a progress for about 10 years. Our whole project here at Executive Mat Service Calgary, where the EcoGrowth location is located, we've got on the Alberta Carbon Registry's ledger, and the CSA group is monitoring it. And by weight, our dehydrators have load cells. So I load 200 pounds of food waste in there, and 24 hours later, I have about 30 or 40 pounds of dry fluff. And we calculate the carbon offset reduction, which goes directly to the iCloud. And for every pound of CO2, we calculate a reduction. And we looked around our plant for the last 26 years and just said, okay, what about this waste paper towel? What about this waste cardboard? What about this cotton rags? What about the wood waste that's in our plant? And we just come about it from a whole different thing. And it just, you come across so many different waste streams. The best one I still say is the one that comes out of our butts. This is actually human biosolids that's been dehydrated. And actually now we turn it to energy with ConocoPhillips up in Northern Alberta. So their biosolids from their 600-man camp goes to heat the laundry, or goes to heat the kitchen water inside the camp kitchen. So you're just creating a lot of efficiencies in waste, but more than that, you're actually lowering your carbon footprint, and you're creating a sustainable impact for the environment. So we've calculated what we offset here in Calgary against what our whole carbon footprint is. This is from our fleet of trucks. This is from our procurement. This is from our energy reuse. And we're carbon neutral as a company, and we measured it based on what we offset. So we're considered carbon neutral as a company. So greenest way to green anybody's business is to get products and services from people who've already done it. And we've been developing this since literally 1996, but we're at a point in history now, which happens to be really timely because my dad was right the whole time in northern Saskatchewan. We lived on wood heat growing up, and we use that as the energy. Still use that as the energy source today. So it's just a matter of time where we get to challenge the government next on whoever has a wood stove, how they're going to credit the consumer back. So it just takes education upon what biomass is and what the availability for the next offset will be. So monetizing it, creating efficiencies with it is basically what we've done. So anything, getting back to the container here, the cardboard waste that we have in our building, it just has to be size reduced. It doesn't have to be dehydrated. So we literally just shred it. We build shredders here in Canada. You couldn't find anybody who actually manufactured in Canada. So we had to design and build our own to do this. So all the cardboard waste gets size reduced. It goes into a hopper in the background there. And then it's fed by auger into a biomass furnace. We heat 65 gallons of glycol or thermal oil or whatever liquid we want to put into it. And then we heat exchange off of it. So what that does is just create a lot of efficiency in what we're doing. Now, along the way, we've come across a whole bunch of different waste streams that's taken us into another direction, like split rail brewing. I was listening to the presentation this morning. We work with a company in Okotoks, Ground Up Eco Ventures, and they actually take used grains, they dry them out, and they actually mill the product into another flour. It's a low calorie, low carb flour. And you can do a whole bunch of things with that waste stream. So we started, okay, what about distilleries? What about coffee shops? The same company takes used coffee grinds, they dry them out, and then they press and get oil out of it. And then they actually create a product, coffee flour. Well, guess what? There's no carbs in that. It's high protein content. And it actually is a flour for baking. So there's all kinds of different uses for the waste streams, but what this container does here is just takes care of the end of the life stuff. And then every other offshoot that comes out of what we're doing here in Calgary is another business on its own. So I think the whole green economy is shifting away from a new revenue stream for people is sitting right inside your dumpster. And if anything if I can get across anything to anybody, is trash to cash. And you're either going to do it by saving on your natural gas bills for heating or propane or however you're doing it. And you're going to generate offset credits. So I invite you to join us and come along with this journey, but show you different waste streams along the way. But does anybody have any questions?
Alex, are there any questions in the chat right now?
We've got Rebecca saying, wow, it looks like dryer lint.
We have a comment that it looks like dryer lints and some poop power. Glen, I love this. I think this is science fiction in my mind, what you're doing here. And you brought up some really good points that I wanted to address. And you talked about that government subsidizing piece and how can our government make sort of a reduction on the fuel costs when we're using burning of, resources in this manner, because there is a lot of infrastructure around, reduction of gas, reduction of electricity, but not a lot in this field in regards to, wood stoves and biomass. So I think that's really a huge gap that you've really hit on this. What kind of feedback have you gotten from when you talk to people about what you're doing?
They're excited because you can go green and actually save a lot of money. And the bonus is you don't have to pay a carbon tax on the fuel you're not using. You're actually creating a carbon credit for yourself by the fuel you're using in biomass. So that's the exciting part. So as we educate even the government here in Canada We have our dehydrators at CRA building downtown Ottawa, at CD Howe building in downtown Ottawa. And they're starting to understand that having big trucks going back and forth and hauling water, I mean, just the dehydration portion of this technology, we reduced the size and weight by 80% minimum within 24 hours. And that's enough for us to make a business decision on, and then start learning what the benefits to the planet we're after and how to monetize the offset. And it's taken us literally 10 years to do so, but coming across different people, you should see the oil industry here in Alberta. The guys that are at camps in Northern Alberta, they're so excited to use their own energy at camp because they have to mandatorily buy offsets anyway. At ConocoPhillips, who we work with, they want to buy their own offsets, and they can do that by basically lowering their carbon footprint by just getting efficient with their waste and actually utilizing it in place of a fossil fuel at camp. So there's all kinds of different scenarios.
Well, you heard it here, folks. My takeaway from this presentation is if you're not sending Glen your waste, you are part of the problem, human waste specifically. But we do have a question in the chat, actually. Alex, could you read out the question for me?
There's two.
Oh, excellent. We apologize. I don't have the screen.
Does the biogas fuel heat the dehydrators?
Did you hear that, Glen?
No, sorry.
Does the
Does the biomass fuel heat the dehydrators?
does the biomass fuel heat the dehydrators?
That is a great question. And we started out by applying laundry principles into our units. So we started out using electric heat. And so they work like an electric dryer. So the energy it takes to make this stuff, if we put 100 pounds in, tomorrow we'll have 20 pounds of dry material out. The energy it took was 1/3 of the energy input in, and then this is 2/3 of the energy output going out. So we've gotten really efficient. In our larger systems that we will be making for small municipalities, towns, and even small cities, is we are going to tie the biomass energy from the biomass boiler right into the dehydrator on the next versions that we make, just to make it way more efficient. So the only thing you're really using for electricity is basically to turn an auger, and it's simple as that.
Awesome. And one more question, Alex?
There's one more. Plans to expand beyond Calgary, and can businesses buy this equipment?
Yes, good question. So are there plans for you to expand beyond Calgary, and how can people get a hold of you if they want to purchase or get in on this equipment?
They can talk directly to Mr. Colin McKeever out in Ontario.
I guess you're already here. You're already here. You're in Manitoulin Island already.
Yes, sir.
Innovation right there. Well, if anyone wants to get on this really cool technology, do talk to Colin McKeever out in Manitoulin Island. You can obviously look up Eco Growth or reach out to us here at Green Economy North, and we'll connect you with this really cool technology. Glen and Colin, thank you so much for your time today, and we appreciate you sharing this really cool tech.
Great. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Sarah Summerlin, who will be with us for the next presentation from Brezach Solutions. Sarah, are you with us?
Myself.
I see you there, Sarah. Is your mic on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can indeed. So Sarah is a dealer principal at Brezach Solutions and is here to talk to us today about Flex Farms. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Communication from McGill University. I am prone to those with Bachelor of Arts in Communications. So, big fan. 12 years at Scientists in Schools, a Canadian not-for-profit delivering dynamic and hands-on STEM workshops for over 700,000 young scientists each year. Always incredible to see more STEM in the learning space. So Sarah, I'm going to pass it over to you.
So I'm going to just share my screen here, if that's okay.
Absolutely, please do. We'll give you the thumbs up to let you know if it's working good. Yeah, you're good to go.
All right, I'm just gonna see if I can. Oh, come on. Hang on just a sec, having a little trouble with my slideshow here.
That's the nature of slideshows. They never work
I
at
know.
first. They always
I
work
know.
eventually.
Here we go. There we go. All right. Okay, so yeah, my name is Sarah Summerlin. I'm here from Brezach Solutions, and Brezach Solutions is a company dedicated to creating healthy and functional spaces. And we work with education, healthcare, businesses, government, and we really focus on creating those spaces. In late 2019, we partnered with an organization called Fork Farms. And they have really spent their entire existence focused on improving food security and then, of course, creating a better environment as a result. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what they do, which is called the Flex Farm. And so the Flex Farm is a fully self-contained mobile hydroponic system. It's designed to maximize yield, reduce complexity, and reduce the space and infrastructure requirements from some other systems. It uses less than 10 square feet of space when it's closed. So when it's closed, it's about 1 meter by 1 meter, and it butterflies open to about 6 feet across. You can see all those little plant spaces there. There's 288 plant spaces in every single system. What that means is that every 28 days, you can have a crop of about 10 kilos of leafy greens. It can grow other crops as well. It's optimized for leafy greens, so lettuce, spinach, all of those things. But people have also used it to grow tomatoes, strawberries, cucumbers. There were even some enterprising schools that ran a competition to grow the biggest pumpkin. Obviously not the best yield, I'm sure, but it was a lot of fun. It's really simple. It uses standard 110 volt electricity so that it can plug into any outlet. It takes about 5 minutes or so a day to maintain, maybe a little longer if you're adjusting pH or whatnot. It is modular in that it can be used on its own, or you can group them together if you're wanting to have a whole larger crop for larger initiatives. There's only one moving part, which is the pump. Again, this is designed to be simple. It's designed to go into schools, community centers, rural and remote communities, to make it as simple as possible for the end users. And it's fully designed, manufactured, and assembled in North America, which is always nice. And every single part is replaceable. So key advantages of this. Again, it was designed to be simple. The whole idea is bringing fresh, healthy food and improving the environment to people as quickly and as easily as possible. 20 minutes to put it together when you get it, minimal maintenance, one mechanical part. And it's really designed for ease of operations. These are in schools, and the very young students are able to plant, grow, maintain the whole system. As I mentioned, it's versatile. So there have been some enterprising groups who have taken over unused warehouse space in economically depressed areas and put a bunch of these in. And as a result, they created employment, they reduced food security issues, and they became self-sustaining because they were then able to sell very high quality produce to local restaurants. And then, of course, continue to grow employment and continue to reduce the impact on the environment through traditional agriculture. And of course, this is a very safe unit. All of those the icky things that happen to many traditional agriculture-based food. So, the E. coli challenges with romaine lettuce from a few years ago don't happen in a system like this. And all of those plant panels, I'll show you the picture again later, but they're all dishwasher safe, which is really neat. Okay, as I mentioned, 10 kilos every 28 days. There are 288 plant spaces in each unit. If you use every one, you'd be just over 3,400 plants annually. It depends on the crop that you're growing. If you're growing lettuce, you may want to skip every other plant space, so you'd be using fewer plant spaces but have a higher yield. If you are growing something like herbs, you might want to use every plant space available, and you just play it as you go. And it costs less than $1.50 a day to operate, but obviously that's going to vary depending on your utility costs in the area you're living. So a lot of text on this page. I won't run through it all. You can read it yourself. But the way this system is designed, it uses less energy than other hydroponic units, less water than both, obviously, traditional agriculture and other hydroponic units, less land for other hydroponic units. There are other vertical systems, but they tend to be large, and they're actually a combination of vertical and horizontal. They're horizontal units that are stacked. So they still require a lot of land for those. And obviously this is much smaller and more versatile for smaller spaces. Every single flex farm will provide this impact. So reducing CO2 in kilowatt hours, obviously reducing food waste because you harvest and bring it right to the table, reducing food miles and as a result CO2, and saving water and cropland. So there is the Fork Farms has really got a strong belief in education as well. I don't think we're going to improve the state of our world without continuing education. So there's a strong focus on lesson plans, and they're available for students kindergarten to grade 12. And they're available for anybody who's interested in these systems. And of course, 2020 was a weird year, but even in 2020, there were over 800,000 food miles eliminated by using flex farms. And there you are. So that is it. It is truly technology for people and planet. It is easy for people to use, and it makes the planet a better place. And that's it.
Sarah, I love all of this. I think people can see what I meant when I said some of this stuff is straight science fiction made real. This is what I'd expect on a sci-fi show from Star Trek, watching as a kid to see in one of the rooms, and now we're having this possible here. I think that's just incredible. The concept you talked about, food miles and food integrity and food security, that's not a term I've heard very often. I've heard a lot of food security talk. But food mileage is very interesting. And how often does that come into the discussion with this sort of solution?
It's a regular discussion. I mean, when you think about it, I think most people don't realize, even in Canada, if you go to the grocery store and buy lettuce in one of those little plastic containers, the lettuce typically will come from California or Arizona. So almost all of the lettuce we eat, unless you're buying it at a in season, and it's marked as such in the grocery store or at a local market, you're buying it a piece of produce that's traveled a very, very long way to get to your table, which is one of the reasons why you buy those containers of lettuce and within 2 or 3 days, you'll find they're going slimy. The lettuce that grows out of these flex farms will last for weeks in your refrigerator, even after harvest. In fact, the lettuce that you're seeing on the screen right now is lettuce that we grew in our flex farm in our office. It's so good. It tastes so good. It's fresh. It's nutritious, higher nutritional value. We end up with so much of it in our office that we often donate it to the food bank, and we'll dedicate entire crops to the local food bank. It's really, really fun.
This is a forward office thinking mentality. You see a lot of forward offices have snacks available for their staff. Just go to our crop and make yourself a salad.
That's pretty much the way it happens.
I absolutely love that. Now, my last question is about water consumption in regards to this. Obviously, leafy greens can be a high drain on water use. How does that come into effect with this unit?
So it's got a central reservoir, and the way it's designed, it really reduces evaporation because it's a pretty enclosed vertical system, drip system. We really limit evaporation, and we've found that really, like, what you see is what you get. I can provide more numbers if you want with regard to water use, but the water numbers I provided earlier on are pretty spot on.
That's incredible. We do have a question in the chat. Unfortunately, I don't have the questions in front of me, so we got to rely on the switchboard here to shout them to me and then to re-shout them.
Okay.
What nutrients are added to the system, and is this purchased with the unit?
Oh, actually, really good. That's a very good question. So are there any nutrients that are added into the system? And does that come with a purchase of this unit, or do you have to, how many parts are required in assembly.
Okay, so yes, you, as with any hydroponic system, you do need to add nutrients. The plants enjoy water, but they also, as with every other living thing, require other nutrients. With every system, you get like a starter kit that typically lasts 6 months. It includes seeds, it includes pH balancers, it includes some nutrients, basically everything, measuring tools and pH strips, like everything you need to get started comes with. And then if you choose to, you can continue to buy those products through us, or they're pretty standard. So if you prefer to buy from a local supplier, you can certainly do that as well. The nutrients that come with are optimized for leafy greens, but they can be adjusted for things like vine plants such as tomatoes and whatnot.
That is incredible. And obviously allows you to do a lot year round too. I think that's it for our questions. Do we have any more, Alex?
So there must be plant plugs to put into these spaces?
Are there plant plugs
Yes.
Yeah.
to put in
Yep.
these spaces? Yeah.
Yes, so there are Rockwool plant plugs, and those come with the unit as well. And those again can be purchased as well later on if you run out.
Are you doing any work in remote northern communities?
So I think the applications of this are very evident in remote northern communities, and we do have a question here about that. Are you doing any work with this in remote northern communities? Where do you see it growing in that space?
So we would really love to work more in remote northern communities. I have to say our growth has been slowed a little bit due to COVID. The launch of this newest version of it was delayed due to COVID. And so we're really starting to push now. And I'm glad somebody brought this up, because for me, rural, remote, and northern communities is really where we need to be and where this would be most advantageous. So if anybody would like more information, I would be happy to chat at any time, and we'll see if we can get these up there.
That's incredible. Yeah. And that just absolutely continues the concept of food sovereignty and food security in these communities where it's vastly important always, and especially right now, post-COVID. So Sarah, thank you so very much. How can people contact you?
Well, my contact information is there
it's
on the screen. It's on the screen.
Jeez. So
and if there, I'm happy to talk to anybody about anything, anytime. This is really exciting. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, everyone. So everyone, that was Sarah Summerlin from Brezach Solutions, talking about Flex Farm, something I wish I had during the entire pandemic. Save me some trips out to the store. All right, next up, we have Glen Knowles to talk to us about a little known volcano here in Canada and an awesome product that goes with it. Based in Langley, BC, Glen is a well-known figure. LavaGrip is based in Langley, BC, and Glen is a well-known figure in the hardware industry with over 25 years of experience. Glen's experience includes various sales and marketing roles, inclusive of director and vice president sales marketing roles in Sherwin-Williams Consumer Brands Group. So this guy knows his products. He has taken over as vice president of sales and marketing at LavaGrip Traction Aid Limited. Glen will be responsible for sales and marketing this great alternative to salt and chemicals to help with sustainability initiatives across Canada. And here in Greater Sudbury, just to try this up a bit, every year we have a discussion of what we use for salting our roads and salting our walkways, and how that affects the water quality of our many lakes and streams, including Junction Creek, which is our major ecosystem running right through a city. So that's why I'm really excited about talking more about this product here. So about LavaGrip, LavaGrip Traction Aid Limited owns a volcanic mine in Quesnel, BC. That's right, a volcanic mine that produces a premium organic instant traction aid for ice management that is non-corrosive, reusable, works at any temperature, and is 100% soil, garden grass, water, and pet safe. So for more information, you can hit up lavagrip.com, or you can listen to Glen's presentation right now. Glen, I see you on the camera. I'm going to pass things over to you.
Great. Thanks very much. I'm just going to bring up a quick presentation here.
Absolutely. All right, I see you on the screen share.
Perfect. Slideshow. Okay, great. Well, before I get going, I'd like to thank the team at Rethink Green for inviting us to present to the group here. Big kudos and thank you. And I'd also like to say nice job to both Colin and Glen from Eco Growth, as well as Sarah from Brezach. Some great great presentations, and I think certainly address the theme here in respect to rethinking green. So what I'm going to present to you today is really a simple solution for what I call a complex problem. We're going to talk about the environmental impact of ice management, and I'm going to present to you what LavaGrip does and how it really does provide a great green solution to an ongoing issue. So as we look at salt, we all understand really the impacts of salinity in our waterways, and the use of salt. The quote I last saw in terms of usage was about 5 million tons used in Canada alone. So I mean, this is something that is really an environmental impact from coast to coast. We all understand that we need to manage ice, and we have to watch out for slip and falls, and especially our roadways. And but there's certainly an environmental impact the way that we're managing this category right now, and that goes for both salt as well as some of the icers. So I just pulled out some independent information to really support this view, and I think it's pretty straightforward. But excessive salt use has been shown to threaten the environment, both from people as well as vegetation, fish, and wildlife habitats near lakes and aquifers. And the industry is trying to get its arms around it in respect to, there's been initiatives like the Smart About Salt program that was originally founded by the Region of Waterloo in response to the increasing levels of sodium and chlorides in municipal drinking water. So, we know that there's different initiatives out there right now in respect to trying to protect fresh drinking water. And this is certainly an additive issue in respect to the salt, being used for ice management. So, as we look a little bit further in terms of the impact of salt, this is an article from TVO that was put out in 2018. And it just talks to the fact that, increased salinity is harmful to freshwater organisms right down to invertebrates, that underpin the entire food chain. I mean, so this is something that is a visible, but is also an invisible contaminant. And certainly, there needs to be, some proactive methods to try to get this under control. And another key takeaway of this article is that they say that acute exposure would be 640 milligrams per liter. And when they tested Mimico Creek in Toronto, it was testing above 35,000 milligrams. So I mean, it's obviously way above where the tolerable range would be. And again, I think this is impacting our water courses, certainly our our environment, but also it's really impacting food chains. So as I said, what we deliver is really a simple solution to what I'd call a complex problem. And we are a volcano. We use the product on a source from a volcano in Quindle, British Columbia, as David mentioned. And before I started, I'll be honest with you, I did not know that we had a volcano in Canada. And but one of the things that really drew me to the opportunity with LavaGrip was the fact that it does provide a green solution, the fact that it is a Canadian source product, and very excited to be with this business. And the greatest thing I can tell you is that the product is and the operation are sustainable. And we've got a 17 million metric ton reserve. So what does that mean? It means that we can ship about 100,000 bags for 10,000 years. So this is really a solution that has the ability to impact today as well as tomorrow. And I think that's critical as we go forward to pursue an adjusted focus and adjusted opportunity within the category. So what does our product do? Well, it replaces salt and chemicals with LavaGrip to preserve the environment and property. And that's obviously a big and a huge part of our value proposition. But the other key one is, adding that LavaGrip to ice control to really reduce slips and falls. And this continues to be, something that is a big focus, obviously, from an insurance industry, but also from a litigation standpoint, that there has been some documentation recently that talks to the fact that individuals who do slip and fall can take action in respect to suing municipalities and cities, and obviously there's a liability there. So it's important that ice management obviously does twofold. It provides a real measure against slipping and falling, and but it also does it, and we need to do it in a more environmental way. So what is our product? Well, our product is a volcanic stone, and I'll just show you it here. Oh, on my palm here. You see there. So it's a 1/4 inch, it's a black scoria rock, and it is not a de-icer, it does not melt the ice, it is a traction aid like we market it. And really this product is 100% pet safe and animal safe. And that goes for household pets, but it also goes for agriculture. You know, there's certainly a requirement to provide a safe area and farms, and certainly feeding stations and calving stations and things like that need to manage ice as well in the winter. And our product does that, and does that in a purely organic fashion that is completely ecological safe. Does not stain or damage property. So a big one with the de-icers and ice salt is you can't put it down on new concrete or wood structures, where our product you can. And again, the great thing about it is 100% organic, environmentally friendly. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you can put this product down, and it acts like a tooth, and it is a traction aid, so it does not melt the ice, but with the black color of the rock, the sun will essentially heat it up and allow it to embed into the ice. And the analogy that we use is it really acts as a tooth in the ice. So at the next snowfall, basically you take off all the loose snow, and you'll have a lot of the product left in. So you use a lot less of it throughout the course of a winter too, which is huge savings, especially for large users, as well as doing the right thing from an environmental standpoint, which is always critical in terms of looking at the value of the proposition here. The other really interesting thing is that it's completely reusable. It's the type of rock that comes out of the volcano, maintains its integrity through the year, and allows at the end of the year that you can actually sweep it up and reuse it the next year. Or the perfect part about this is, and the environmental part of it and the organic piece of it is, you can sweep it into your soil, whether it be grass or gardens, and it actually just acts as a conditioner. The product has multiple micronutrients in it, and it actually, because it's a very porous type product, it will actually aerate the soil as well. So it actually is a positive in respect to the additive to the soil piece. So rather than it be a chemical like a de-icer or a salt, and increasing salinity within the water course, this product actually is beneficial to the environment and adds nutrients back into the soil, whether it be a household or a commercial building or a farm or whatever. So it's a really great solution, and it really is truly the only true or truly 100% organic solution to managing ice. And we think because of that, it's going to be, it provides a huge value and a huge opportunity for the product. So our customers, we can really go anywhere. We can travel to public facilities. Anyone with a car can use this product. It provides instant traction if someone was to get stuck. Pet owners and agriculture obviously are a big user of ours. Healthcare facilities would be huge. Along with municipalities and property managers. And the other key thing about our product is it doesn't track. So because the size of it, 1/4 inch, and because the fact that it doesn't break down, you're not going to see that big spray of salt as you go into a building from people walking through and from. And which is a big one as well in terms of, it's not corrosive at all. It's not going to have any impact on automobiles, but it's also not going to create additional damage to whether it be surfaces or even indoor environments, which is critical. We've done some work in terms of really looking at, what type of savings per year can this represent? And obviously this is a model. Everyone will be a little different in terms of how much product is used and where the product is being used, and how much snow is being managed. But the model that we put together, we see about a 75% reduction in actual use of products, so which is fantastic. There's no limitation from a temperature standpoint. The product will maintain its integrity and act as a traction aid in any temperatures where there are limitations on using ice salt and as well as using chemicals. And the other neat thing is with ice salt, as you're aware, it melts the ice down to a water, and then basically it refreezes, and you have to reapply the ice salt. And same thing with a de-icer, you have to get out there before the storm hits. You have to put this product down, and then you have to continually repeat. Where our product stays in place, basically you just have to apply, spot apply as you see fit, because it's black in color. It shows the contrast between the ice and our product, so you know exactly where you need to add more. And with this, really provides a great value in terms of their overall look from a seasonal standpoint, in terms of what you can do from a potential savings with our product versus traditional products, which is always great. And Glen talked about it as part of his presentation. Anytime you can provide a value in terms of cost savings, plus have the ecological angle and the organic angle to it, I think is certainly a win-win. I think testimonials are always great to present in these type of forums, and I wanted to point out certainly a couple opportunities here. Suncor Energy in the oil patch uses our product exclusively. They've used it since the 1920 season, and they love it. I mean, we've already shipped up a couple truckloads to them this year, and as they look to really watch their environmental footprint, this is certainly an area and an opportunity for them to help them do that. So we see a lot more adaptation as well in the oil patch, and with people using this product, and it goes above and beyond that. We've got paramedics and fire services and police services using the product as well. Certainly, it's a great advantage for homeowners as well too, especially from a pet perspective. We see a big value in the fact that it doesn't burn pets' paws, it doesn't stick in pets' paws, and there's no harsh chemicals for them to lick and get sick. So, there's a lot of different angles that we can really focus on with this product as a great solution to some of the issues that are prevalent in the industry today. And that's really it. I mean, it's a simple, as I said, a simple solution to a bit of a complex problem. And, we really feel that this is a great alternative and a great option to impact today. And we'll have certainly impacts, certainly today as well as in long term, as, there's with the issues I presented originally with salinity in the waterways. I mean, that is something that is certainly concerning. And, I really think that the industry is trying to get their arms around it, and we're part of that solution before legislation comes in respect to how much ice salt or where ice salt can be used. So with that, I'll open up for questions, and I again wanted to thank the group for having me present, and appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much for coming today, Glen. We only have a few minutes left. There's not any currently questions, but I love this because I said earlier that we're always having that discussion of in Greater Sudbury, like what do we put for traction? What do we put on our roads that will not affect the pH level of our waterways and lake systems? And it's so pivotal here in the north. I think anyone here from the northern Canada will absolutely agree. Our lakes are part of our ecotourism and is part of our livelihood in many ways. So this is a great piece of that. Now, I personally have often been told to use beet juice instead of road salt, and this solves the problem because I hate beets. So this is just solving problems every which way. So guys, if you want to get a hold of Glen, please do reach out to him. This is a great product, and we really appreciate you joining us today, Glen. And we appreciate all the presenters who are here today. We absolutely Glen Smith, Sarah Summerlin, Colin, and obviously another Glen Knowles. So thank you so much, and we appreciate your time, Glen.
Great, thank you.
So weird. I always want to call for an applause, but we don't have anyone's mics off. So yeah, the crew here is gonna play.